Erev Shabbos, Parshas Ki Seitzei. There's a crazy mitzvah in this week's Parsha. I say crazy because it just doesn't seem to fit into anything. Torah tells us in the beginning, Ki Seitzei l'milchama, when you go out to war. And we understand that who are the soldiers? The soldiers are from the highest level of people. We learned last week that anybody who didn't built a house, didn't live in the house, anybody who planted a vineyard, didn't yet reap from the vineyard, anybody who got married and wasn't with their wife for a year. So they're allowed to go home from the war. And we also would say anybody who's a rach levav, anybody who's afraid of the battles, is also allowed to go home. And we said that, what does it mean, person afraid? It doesn't mean a person afraid of killing or a person afraid of being killed. It means a person's afraid of their religious position. They're worried that they're not holding in a high enough place. And they're worried about their averos. And Chazal explained what are the averos that they're worried about. They're worried about the fact that they might have talked between putting their hand tefillin and putting their head tefillin on. Not talking about that they're worried that maybe they're not keeping Shabbos well. They're not worried about the treif that they ate. So they're worried about. We're talking about holding on a level that's so high. They're worried about this fine-tuned thing that maybe they spoke in between putting on the tefillin. That means that the people that are fighting in the war, you're talking about Reb Chaim, you're talking about Reb Moshe, you're talking about the highest and holiest of people. So Torah says that to that person, we turn to him because we recognize what's going on in war. And what's going on in war, the depravities of war is such that we have to talk to people like this. Even a soldier can fall down. Soldier's there in the war, and the Torah says that he sees a beautiful woman and he wants to take this woman home. He takes her home. He lets her go unkempt. Pares her nails. She cries over her mother and father, her bachsa. She cries over her father and her mother for 30 days. And then if after 30 days he looks at her and he says he still wants to marry her, so the Torah says he can marry her. It doesn't fit in with any of the systems of the Torah. It does, but it's not for now. But what's crazy to me is the statement that the Zohar makes about that. And the Zohar says that Dohid Yarcha de Elul, that this whole Parsha is the description of the month of Elul. What does it mean, the description of the month of Elul? What does that have to do with the month of Elul? It could happen in any month. It has nothing to do with the month of Elul. The fact that it's a 30-day period that she has to cry over her mother and father, that's Dohid Yarcha de Elul, that's the month of Elul. Yeah, the month of Pesach is also 30 days. The month of Tisha B'Av is also 30 days. The month of Cheshvan is also 30 days. But what are you talking about? Mar Cheshvan. What are you talking about? What does it mean, Dohi Yachad El? This is the month of El. Because what does it mean when it says she has to cry over her mother and father? It's not just because she's about to convert to Judaism, and therefore she has to disconnect herself from her mother and father. She's not going back to their house again. And therefore, Bachsa, she has to cry over that. That's not what it means. Avi Avimel, the father and mother that's talking about, means her idolatry. That she's got to disconnect herself from idolatry, from all the stuff that she brought in, from all the belief system that she had, the value system that she had, the foundations upon which her life were built. She's got to disconnect herself from that because she's going to become a real Yid. She's going to become a real Jew. So then she's got to uproot all of that stuff. The avelus that she has to go through, the letting the hair grow and the nails and all the things that she does to herself. All of that is symbols of avelus, of mourning, because she's got to mourn over herself. A part of her is going to die, and the part of her is that the part of her past. Part of her preconceived notions. Part of what she was based on. That's got to be uprooted. And Dahi Yarchad Elul. That's what the Zohar means, that this is the month of Elul, because that's exactly what the month of Elul is. The month of Elul is that month that we uproot all of those preconceived notions, all of those ideas and ideologies and fundamentals that we accepted that this is what our life is based on. And then we have to relook at them. And we have to say, are these really my principles? Is this really who I am? Is this really what I believe in? All those things that we preconditioned in ourselves. All those things that we said that this is what I am and this is what it is. We got to cry over those. We got to uproot those. We got to look at all those foundations that we built in our year. That we said that this is what I'm based on. And look at them and say, are they real? Are they real? Is really representative of who I am? And that's what the month of Elul is about. We got to change those foundations. We got to come at it with a clean slate. We got to say that all the stuff that I thought I was, maybe I wasn't. And let me re-identify who I am. Because that's the way with a clean slate. I'm going to be able to start over and build a new structure, build a new me. That's how this Pasha begins. You want to rebuild yourself? You can't just reshape what's there. You got to knock it down. You got to cry over it, disavow yourself over it, put it in the past. And now rework something. And now start fresh. You know, we walk into situations in life and we have certain preconceived notions. This is the way it should be. This is the way it will be. This is what it is. And therefore, everything fits into that basket. And there's no room for growth. There's no room for change. That's the stuff we got to knock down. And when we knock down that stuff, that's when we can achieve incredible greatness. That's when we can make ourselves ready to have an incredibly beautiful new year. And to become new people. To become new, strong, powerful people. Dohi Yachdel. That's what we should be doing this month. Have a wonderful, beautiful, amazing Shabbos.